So I don't like having these conversations, but I care about my audience, and I think you care too about these types of topics, and that's part of the reason why you gather on this channel. But I do want to talk about what to do before the dollar loses control. And no matter where you are in the Anglosphere, the bottom line is the US dollar has been the reserve currency of the world. I don't expect that to change. However, the US government has a spending problem. Maybe you can relate. And the fact is, the more we spend, the more we're relying on other countries to buy our debt. And of course, the more debt we have, the more chance our dollar has to weaken. And I think that's part of the reason the President of the United States just made that trip out to Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. Oh, sure, it was to put together deals, but the other part is to make sure those guys are still back in the U.S. dollar in petrodollars, and that's a story we don't want to completely neglect because it's very real, it's very, very true, and the bottom line is we all need to be cognizant of it. So let's take some of those lessons and apply them to this video because your insights do matter, and let me throw a couple ideas out to you. The bottom line is I don't think the dollar is going to crash per se, but incrementally it could be replaced over time. Now, the question is, what do they plan on replacing it with? Maybe there's some breadcrumbs being a trail left that we can kind of explore a little bit. Is there a chance that people like us can prepare for the post-dollar world? I don't even like to think of it, but I'm an American, and this is a reality that we may be facing one day. Because the bottom line is, there is a global exit. You're not seeing it on cable. The BRICS, those are the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China. The bottom line is they have local currencies and gold-backed trade, and that's a trend that's really worth following. The bottom line is the Middle East is shifting away from the petrodollar. Now, you wouldn't have that by the recent Trump visit to the Middle East because it was quite a show and quite a fanfare there and a lot of pumping each other up. But I'm here to say that there's an exchange taking place there as well. So I want you to pay attention to that. The IMF is also reviewing some other types of financial frameworks that are out there that could conceivably bypass the dollar. And of course, the Wall Street Journal really is very worried about U.S. debt auctions. And the fact is, since interest rates are high, our treasuries are having to pay out more money. And of course, that means the borrowing of money is more expensive. And the scary thing is, what are we borrowing money for? Well, some of our entitlement programs, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, just to name a few. And those things, unless there's some kind of austerity that takes place, they're not going away. And there could be a day where the United States is actually spending more on those programs than anything else. And it's kind of a scary thought. So what's the impact for people like us on Main Street? Mortgage and credit card rates are likely to climb. I know that Trump says that he wants these rates to come down. He was always back and forth with the Fed. But the bottom line is, I don't see it right now. And the fact is that the U.S. buying power equals declines in global markets. I'm just saying these are things that are very, very real. Long-term savings equal less in global trade terms, right? So these are things affecting people in the United States and in the Anglosphere as well, and they're things we want to be really, really aware of. I'm sharing a short clip with you from Warren Buffett, and I like Buffett because, well, he's kind of the grandfatherly-like figure right now, and number one. And number two, he really knows what he's talking about because he does feel as though there's an inflation, has a real danger right now to people like us. And so I wanted to share this with you because I think it might give you some additional insights.
And obviously we wouldn't want to be owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to hell. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to want to debase its currency over time. There's no system that beats that. You can pick dictators, you can pick representatives, you can do anything, but the people, there will be a push toward weaker currencies, and of course that is, I mentioned very briefly in the annual report that the fiscal policy is what scares me in the United States, because it's made the way it is, and all the motivations are to doing a lot of things that could cause trouble with money. But that's not limited to the United States. It's all over the world, and some places it gets out of control regularly. As they know, they devalue at rates that are breathtaking, and that's continued. I mean, and people can study economics and you can have all kinds of arrangements, but in the end, if you've got people that control the currency, you can issue.
So if there's a theme that we could really make sure that we're doing here on this particular video, is preparation without panic, awareness without, once again, being frightened. But 3 to 6 months cash on the side isn't a bad thing if you're able to pull that off. Plus 10 to 20% in metals or stable REITs. These are other things to take care of. And I'm just saying these are things that are out there that aren't just going to go away if there's a little bit of destabilization inside the dollar. Consider VT, VEU, global exposure ETFs as maybe a hedge as well. And of course, keep 3 to 5% of functional crypto, not memes. And when they're talking about functional crypto, they're speaking specifically about things like Bitcoin, Solana, and once again, do you even own crypto, or maybe you have exposures to it through an ETF? Drop a comment below, because I'd be really curious to what you do, and maybe you have some insights to what your strategies are, because you're sharp people, that's for sure. Hey folks, drop a comment below, because I do like to hear from my audience, and you bring incredibly insightful comments here that help us put this whole thing together. Hit like, hit subscribe, help me feed that dog of mine, and I'll catch you in the next video. Remember, folks, the biggest battle we fight is the one between our ears. Stay healthy, stay safe, and celebrate your victories, and I'll catch you next video. Thank you.